Here's one rabbit who's always eager for a dime, and I'm not talking about working for it either. Nope, I'm not just about money, I'm also into treasure. That's why I'm dreaming of the day in which I score a fat map, a cool whip, and more carrots than a 40s rabbit can stand.
I was going to say, you've gone back into that voice.
Hydrogen is the future. The world of tomorrow. Today! Nah, see? It's like a combination between like 40s Man and like The Mask, which I've never seen, but...
That would explain why you think it's like The Mask.
Dude, I've seen clips from it where he sounds like that.
Not like that.
You'll always be number 2, see?
That's because he's literally mocking a gangster.
I know, but still, that's the only scene I've seen from that whole film. I was about to shoot that like I had fucking Fireball. Jesus Christ. In fairness, I've got Pyramid, which makes no much more sense. Well, I mean, I suppose it does in this. Is it stuck on Pyramid because he's an explorer? Or is it always the same on the spinner for both spins of a map?
Oh, it's the same for, yeah, both spins. It's the same option.
Yeah, because I was like, is he in Pyramid mode for plot reasons? I say plot. Not implying that Peggle has plot. Peggle has plot like your average porno does.
It's got a bit more plot than that.
See, well, I've never seen a porno with plot, because I've never seen a porno. I've just seen porn, which on the internet is just like...
A short clip.
Someone fucking. Like, there isn't none of this build-up of like... I've never actually come across a porno as such.
Clearly not been watching the right online porn.
Well, clearly not, yeah. I'm just fucking...
Most of the online porn I've watched has been shared by a girl on the net.
Right, go on.
Girl on the net, she's from London. She's into some very, very strange things. And I like her because she describes things that I have no interest in, but in such a way that I'm sort of like...
Oh, those are real.
Doesn't do anything for me, but I can see where you're coming from. She's such a good writer, and every now and again she goes on these glorious feminist rants, and she's one of those glorious people who...
You've overstepped your glorious limit for this sentence, so you can't use it again.
No, it's definitely coming out again. She just... She's exactly the kind of person you'd want to hang out with at the pub. She's a good laugh, and she absolutely says things that she thinks. And sometimes she's like, you know what, I'm terrible for X, or I need to work on Y. But generally speaking, she's a real human being. She doesn't show herself as being particularly glorious or doing particularly wonderful things. And sometimes
you and you're
like,
fucking glorious.
Yeah. She is glorious. There's no other word.
Stop saying glorious!
No, because it's the correct word for her.
It's losing its oomph.
But it's the only word for her, because I don't know how she can describe being pissed on, and I'm like, I can't say I have any interest in it, but I can see where you're coming from.
Sorry.
Usually
the dick hole.
Yeah. She's also into girls. She could have been pissed on by a girl. Just FYI.
Fair, you know what? I was being sexist.
But
casual sexism for the fail, really.
But sometimes, yeah, she shares a thing being like, she was very against the new legislation on porn, which is all about you can't show anything that could be construed as non-consensual, even if it is. And yeah, she showed this video, and it was really odd. And it was this guy. He makes this girl. It looks like she's tied behind her back, and she's in the bathroom, and he makes her drink this like big, massive thing of milk, and he makes her drink the whole thing. And then there's a blowjob, and she swallows, and it's just like this just milk
That's
everywhere.
My favourite description of porn ever. There is a blowjob. It's so. It's like it's the fact you've used the passive voice. It's not like she blows him. It's there is a blowjob
because it definitely happens to her. The whole concept is
a blowjob happens to her.
Yeah. Because it's this whole thing of, she's being very passive. She's got her hands tied behind her back. It's very much he's.
But still, she's blowing him.
No.
There is a blowjob.
No, she's kind of just there and doing what she's told. She kind of gets...
Well, what she's told is, blow
open
me.
Mouth. No, it's definitely open mouth, and I'll do what I want.
Open mouth?
Yeah, just have your mouth open and I'll do what I want. So it's much more like that, and she's just doing as she's told. But at the end, she stands up and she smiles, she gives him a kiss, and she opens up her fake bonds, and it's clear that she's in that situation.
Just worth knowing, there offered me flippers the first time, but fireball the second time.
Oh, fair.
Spanner in the works. Anyway, continue.
So yeah, it's an odd one to explain, and obviously I didn't find it particularly arousing, but it was really fascinating to watch because it was a porn thing.
Oh, because you watched a full-on porn clip.
Yeah,
fair.
And it had to be, and it was interesting because again, it's not something I'm particularly interested in. Loser.
Fuck off.
Love you. And it's not something I'm particularly interested in, but it just showed off well why that shouldn't be illegal, but it was being made illegal by these new laws.
Well, it's only illegal to film it for profit. You can still do it.
You do it, but you're not allowed to watch it. It's been illegal.
No, it's not illegal to watch it.
As far as I'm aware, that's the whole issue with the porn thing.
I'm 90% sure that there is a list of what's actually illegal to watch in porn in this country, but it's almost entirely like diddling stuff. Like it's that stuff was made illegal to film in. It was illegal to film it and sell it for profit in the UK. But you can still import it and you can still watch it. I'm fairly sure it's still legal.
Fair, I'll have to check that. I certainly was under the impression that it was illegal to watch.
Nope.
Okay.
Because how the fuck would that be policed? We have a bad enough time policing like people watching fucking children fucking animals, so...
Think about the phrasing on that one.
What?
That didn't come out how you meant it.
I'm pretty sure it did, children fucking animals.
Yeah, but...
No, it wasn't supposed to sound good. It's a thing.
Like
it's what your level 5...
pedophilia, bestiality thing. That's how I would phrase it, because children fucking animals, just that kids have gone around being like, I quite fancy doing this, and I'm going to film it for Instagram.
Fair. No, that's what your level 5 paedophilia is. Genuinely, I only learned this recently, paedophilia comes in levels.
Yeah.
Like, I only learned this because, like, it was a bloke from The Thick of It, one of the early seasons in it, and he then suddenly stops being in that show, and I was like, well, how come he's on it? And like, the Wikipedia article's like, yeah, and then he was accused of, and he was convicted of being a level 5 paedophile. I was like, there are levels? Yeah. And level 5 is the highest level, which is if being convicted of either having or making films involving both children and animals simultaneously, which is a hell of a thing. I wonder why those two go hand in hand. Not gonna have that discussion on here, but...
Why not?
Because it's probably a bit too close to the bone.
I'm sorry, has one of us been engaging in pedophilia and or bestiality?
No, but it's like, it's a bit of an uncomfortable topic, talking about why pedophilia and bestiality are associated.
I think it is an uncomfortable topic, but I think the fact that people don't talk about it makes it a taboo, makes it harder for
there's
to
don't talk about it versus don't broadcast it on YouTube on a relatively family-friendly show that's going to be watched by your fucking young nieces and nephews, so...
Please don't say fucking in that sentence, that was disturbing. Yes, fair, I do accept that.
Peggle has already established itself as the series we talk about weirdly deep shit.
Exactly, and
but
it's another thing I've been reading recently, which is nothing to do with the podcast. It's actually a book I got from my university.
About pedos.
About specifically women who abuse children.
The lady pedos.
And it's this whole thing of... This was written in like the 70s, so...
Pre-Mara Hindley.
A lot of stuff, and there was a lot of... It began with this whole thing of, do you know what? Most people who were abused by a female member have to lie and say it was male because no one will believe them. Or people will assume that it was a man who forced them.
Yeah.
And it's really... It goes into a really important thing, and one of the biggest problems is the author wrote... like this big massive internet trail thing, spoke to therapists all over the world and was like, please, if anyone...
Big massive internet trail in the 70s. No, they didn't.
Not 70s. It was an online. It was a worldwide thing, where it was definitely was a famous therapist, and
famous the rapist.
There was a therapist who was approached by someone who said, they were abused by a female. They didn't know anything about it and assumed, they were wrong, and then started looking into it and then did a global effort to find out about it. Definitely got some communication with the entire world about it because they got responses from all over the world that were anonymous.
Just saying it, this is how you use the fucking magic hat.
Yeah, the magic hat can be amazing.
That was really genuinely powerful.
It was. And it was talking to loads of people who gave sort of their opinions, so it was a one-way conversation, so the therapist who wrote this book...
Oh, fuck off. Jimmy shitbags. The rad scientist.
Yes. So the therapist got to read all these responses and tried to contact anyone who was willing, but most of it was anonymous. And loads of it was people arguing it away or saying, oh no, we had a relationship, or...
See, that's the thing I wonder. It's like fucking, what's his name? President of France.
See, that wouldn't count as paedophilia.
Why?
It's paedophilia if they're children. Once they hit puberty, it's something else.
Puberty or of age, like 16?
Puberty.
Okay. Yeah,
so once you're past puberty, it's
because he was 15, I think.
Yeah.
And they didn't do anything while he was 15 because she was like, no, we're going to wait till he's old enough, then I'm going to bang him. Still fucking dodgy, but...
That's a totally different question.
Fair.
which I would love to talk about, but right now we're talking about this book.
Oh, welcome more to the Pedo Peggle podcast. The Triple P.
Jesus.
Dude, you're the one who's leading this conversation.
Well, then let me lead it.
Fair.
But yeah, one of the worst things
suck a dick.
that these people were dealing with is they couldn't talk to anyone because they had to lie about it. Because if they said a woman was doing it, it was assumed they were lying, or that it was, they were misunderstanding, or they didn't realise it was a man who was forcing them the thing.
Or they should have sat back and enjoyed it, or some shit like that.
There are some people who were like, you should have just,
That's the common thing with, at least that's not necessarily paedophilia, but certainly women sexually abusing men is, you should have just enjoyed it. Yes.
Which is just horrifying in its own glorious way.
Stop saying glorious, especially when you're talking about pedos.
Fair. It's horrifying.
There you go.
In a way that I can't even put words to.
If your homonyms are horrifying and glorious, one of those you don't have the right definition for.
I don't know, when you think of awesome or awe-inspiring, that's actually, it's like a horror thing.
Originally,
yes. To be awed by something
but it's not anymore, whereas using modern definitions, your version of glorious is weird.
Well, like, glorious to me, I think, has such a religious context, so I wouldn't think of it as ever being good.
Really?
Glorious is like an extreme. Glorious is you can't quite conceive of how much of what you're dealing with is.
I suppose that is kind of how you use it, yeah.
Especially with Girl on That, she's glorious. Like, I'm not particularly interested in a lot
Holy
of things she
shit,
says.
just want to say, 3 left got fucking 9 balls.
Yeah, but look at him.
I'll get him.
You're going to be doing a lot of cleanup. So, yeah.
Well, that's 2 of them.
Mm.
Right, Yoda.
That was definitely Professor Oak.
Oh, that's much better.
At least that's appropriate to you.
I'm not Professor Oak. I'm not even a professor.
You absolutely are Professor Oak. Do you were close voice.
No.
Yes.
Dude,
if you haven't seen it, absolutely watch the Pokemon Snap. It's quite fun. I don't even like Pokemon.
I'm just basing off his voice in the anime.
You were close.
Do you know what Professor Oak's name is?
Ash Oak.
Samuel. Ash is the fucking bloke. It's funny because they're all named after trees.
Hilarious.
Yeah.
Ha ha
all the professors in every fucking Pokemon game are named after a tree at some point.
That snake is creepy looking.
I thought it was a monkey.
Is it?
That's a snake. I think you're right. But yeah, it's Professor Oak, Professor Elm, Professor Bitch. Birch, I should call him Bitch because he's a bitch. Then
did I ever tell you the funny story of...
I think it's Juniper in Pokemon Go as the professor.
Cool. Nice trick. Did I ever tell you the funny story of the
Bijan
Freeze?
What?
The Bijan Freeze.
Go on.
So my sister's a dog groomer.
Oh, those are real.
Yeah. I was helping out with the dog grooming, and I was writing from compiling her and her co-manager, the other person who owned the business, compiling their diaries to make sure that they had every dog who was in that day. So I was writing on the board, and literally I said to my sister, shout her name. I shouted my sister's name, and I was like, "What's this?" And she's like, "What is it?" Because she was trying to set up, and I was like, "A bitchin'," and she just laughed and was just like, "A what now?" And I was like, bitchin' frizz? She's like, I think you mean Bijan Freeze there. And I was like, no, definitely bitchin'.
That reminds me of, we had a builder in who was resurfacing part of our roof with, are you familiar with bitumen?
No, bitumen.
So it's spelled B-I-T-U-M-E-N, bitumen, and it's basically, it's almost like tarmac that you put on roofs.
Oh, yeah.
You know the stuff I mean?
Yeah.
And so, like, actually, wasn't it? No, it was us. What the fuck were we having it put on? Because we don't have a flat roof. I don't know. But that was been done. And yeah, so the builder was like, and he gave us the bill at the end. It was like, how much of this? And then, like, so much bitumen. And bitumen, he literally spelled B-I-T-C-H-Y-M-E-N. Like, bitchy man. I was like, we were reading this, they were like, that's very funny, but also we know exactly what he means.
Fair play to you guys.
But yeah.
I'd have just been like, what the fuck is that? Maybe he was, meaning to write employees.
Except it was just him, so unless he was being a prick to himself.
I mean, maybe. Sometimes when I think I'm doing something foolish, I'm like, come on, moron.
One I've always wanted to learn is blacksmithing. I know there's not a huge deal of call for it, but...
It's not about call, though, it's about enjoyment.
No, if, like, that would be the... So...
Patrick.
here is my manual trades in order of what I would do. And honestly, the point I am in my career, these are still absolutely viable options. Number 1, blacksmith. Number 2, electrician. Number 3, hairdresser. I find hairdressing somehow fascinating.
Fair, I cut my own hair.
I know you do, which is why you look like a... I didn't even say anything.
Hey, I look fairly decent for someone who cuts their own hair. That doesn't sound very
But also,
good,
you
does it?
cut your hair once every couple of years, so it doesn't really count.
That's not fair, actually.
Is that not?
No,
accurate?
roughly every 6 months when it's long, but obviously
Really?
you've only known me since my hair's been short.
Fair.
I cut my hair off and donated it to charity.
Devoted words too.
Sent 22 inches of hair
Jesus
off to
Christ.
Locks of Love. And
God, I forget how long it was.
yeah, because you have no idea. You've not met me.
I have met you, but I hadn't then.
Since I've had it.
No. That's 22.
Long.
That is insane.
Yeah, I used to be able to sit on my hair.
But no, hairdressing is one of those things where it's like, most tasks, that if it's like a manual task that you observe someone doing regularly, you kind of figure out what's going on and stuff. I have sat and watched someone cut my hair many times. I have no fucking clue how it's done, like how you even fucking approach it. And so it kind of fascinates me in that way, because I'm just like, especially because they make it seem so casual, they're just like, doobie-doobie-doo, comb, snip, 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 and then I look fucking completely different. It's like, how do you do that and not just fuck it up is stunning to me. It's one of those things that's like, yeah, it's weirdly baffling.
It's a trick that once you get used to it, you get used to it. My dad
Absolutely. Any kind of manual thing like that is about getting your eye in, but that's just one I've just not been able to. Like, I was telling you this earlier because I've just had a fairly severe haircut, and I was saying I was genuinely having a conversation with my barber. I was just like, how do you learn to cut hair? Also, while you're cutting my hair, can you just like talk me through what you're doing? Just because it's vaguely interesting. Yeah. And then that was the point at which he was like, what do you do for a living then? I was like, I'm doing a PhD on locust behaviour. It was like, and you're interested in hairdressing? I was like, yeah, it's an interesting concept. He's like, fine then, here we go.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, he explained a lot of hairdressing to me, and then I explained a lot of techniques for examining locust behaviour to him. It was a very strange but interesting exchange of skills.
I can imagine that.
I mean,
You're not going to make this.
He's probably still earning more than I ever will, but...
I wouldn't say ever. But yeah, currently probably.
I always wonder about hairdressers. I wonder what the...
Do you know that at the moment, the only
could be.
thing you can, like, emigrate to Australia for is if you're, like, a hairdresser or something like that, because that's one of the skills they're really lacking.
It is a skill, and I always wonder what, like a salon, what the kind of... So I'm talking in terms of gents hairdressing. Women's is a whole different ballgame, but in terms of gents hairdressing, I always wonder what the kind of, like, profit margins are. Because in terms of pure profit... You're charging, let's say on average, a tenner per customer, which is average for gents' haircuts. Haircut will probably take you 20 to 30 minutes. So you're getting through 20 quid an hour. In terms of costs, once you've actually bought the initial equipment, which as I understand it is extremely expensive, hairdressing scissors are like 200 quid and shit like that. And like you will be getting product.
And you have to get them sharpened.
Yeah, but you're not getting through that much like product and stuff on too regular of a basis.
It depends.
I always wonder
do they do like wash and blow dry and everything like that?
That's less common for gents, I think.
Yeah, I can imagine that.
But obviously the cost is low as well. But also that's because it is just a shorter affair.
I'm surprised it's 20 minutes for a haircut. Usually 10 minutes is standard haircut. Certainly.
So I'm an odd one.
Times I've been.
I'm an odd one. What? 50, like 20 minutes for a woman's haircut.
I have had my haircut once since I was about 13.
Oh no, I've gone on the ball. Shit, I thought it was it.
I've had my haircut once since I was about 13, and that was when I cut all my hair off.
I suck.
Loser.
Why do I suck so much? Come on, in the bucket. Bucket, yes!
Actually disgusted.
I don't care.
What's wrong with you? What the hell? My god, doctor.
Oh my god.
Shit
Right.
like that is why I think you sound like Ace Ventura.
Fuck off. Right.
You do.
So, I'm an odd one with having my hair cut because the reason I have a haircut is because I'm sick of having long hair. So I will let my hair grow very long and very thick, and then I'm just like, fuck it, I want to get rid of it. So mine's probably unusually high for a gent's haircut.
Maybe.
Certainly, for my ex, her hair cutting would take an hour and a half about. And I was told that was relatively standard.
Okay, again, I've very rarely had my hair cut.
It was also minimum 30 quid.
oh yeah, I made it out of the temple, okay, but now I'm stuck in Ecuador.
Ecuador. It's a
Ecuador.
country. Who the fuck is this final one? Who have we not had that isn't who?
I don't know.
No, seriously.
I don't know.
Oh, fuck off you.
Press continue and we'll find
Sorry.
out.